Hello. So this is going to be a sort of incomplete review of Ian McCarthy's videos and how they have both helped and hindered the fitness community, especially on YouTube. So the first is I want to talk about some of the good that he's done, and that being muscle soreness. A lot of times we correlate muscle soreness as the only way that we worked out hard. If our muscles are sore, we worked out so hard. Ian points out that this isn't the only indicator of the fact of a good workout, that you've stimulated muscle protein synthesis in the sense of bodybuilders. And what he points out is that there's metabolic byproducts that cause soreness long term, and as you work out the muscle more effectively, it becomes better at sort of getting rid of these byproducts and also healing itself. And that's really one of the fundamental reasons. He also discusses how soreness of a muscle, especially in the presence of continuous workout, as far as you go to the gym all the time and then you're working out your triceps, they don't feel sore. That could also be an indicator that you're not working out the correct muscle, especially if you're doing tricep kickbacks and your shoulders sore but your triceps aren't. That could be a pretty good indicator that you're not working the correct muscle. One thing I wish he talked about more was the effect that inadequate sleep and inadequate nutrition can have on muscle soreness. So, if you're not eating the correct meals and you're working out really hard, your body can't repair itself, and therefore it stays sore and it remains sore, and you get really susceptible to soreness. So if you're eating right, if you're doing all the eating right part, and you're sleeping good, and you're actually repairing your muscles, and that's what's also going to inhibit you from getting sore. So the idea that soreness, if you're aiming for soreness in the presence, the only time you should be aiming for soreness is in the presence of essentially good form, good nutrition, and good sleep. And if you have these things and you don't have some sort of sickness or disease and you're getting muscle soreness, then it's probably likely, and you're also drinking enough water, of course, then it's likely that that's a pretty damn good workout. Or that you just haven't worked that muscle in a particularly long period of time. So that's muscle soreness. So I think you did a great job on that. Where Ian kind of screws up here is with the protein round table. They do a couple discussions, and there's a couple things where they screw up. So growth hormones effect. They were talking about how hormones have no influence on androgenous hormones. Hormones inside you have no effect on muscle protein synthesis or creation of muscle mass. Yeah, and you could disagree with me, but I have a video on that as far as intermediate fasting is concerned, and how that elevation in muscle in these hormones, especially that they are in the presence of a cascade of other mechanisms, that they now have an enhanced effect on muscle protein synthesis. So we talk about in this video the protein roundtable part 1, around 40 minutes or so, how HGH has no stimulus in increase in muscle protein synthesis. And actually, and he doesn't mention this in the video, the other man in the video, not Ian, I don't know who it is, I forget. He's smart though. HGH, when injected, has been shown to actually cause diabetes. So insulin insensitivity, something that you're trying to get actually more sensitive to by injection of exogenous HGH, then you're going to cause diabetes, which is really, really bad. So, and actually diabetes has been strongly associated with muscle wasting. So don't inject HGH, first off. He's right on that. But he's not right that these increases in growth hormones have no effect on muscle protein synthesis. Ian actually has a conflicting video with that saying that post-workout nutrition, titled "Post-Workout Nutrition Recommendations," where he states that you should, or he recommends that you should abstain from food for extended periods of time because of this increase in hormones, that being HGH and testosterone. So clearly there's some misinformation that's being reiterated, and I'm sure he made the post-workout nutrition recommendations before he did the round table, but these are just some things to be aware of that he's learning. He's only a freshman in college. I don't know what college, but he's progressing along with everyone else, but he's also a very intelligent person who's trying to educate himself as fast as he can, which is excellent. But we also need to view him with as said, biased, and with the opportunity to make mistakes, as I do as well. But right now I'm being pretty particular as far as making sure I'm saying the right things. So now we'll go up. This kind of really pissed me off. Is Protein Roundtable 2. Excellent. I love the fact that he did these, but he, in this particular instances, he screwed this up. So, Protein Roundtable 2 at 54 minutes, he simply just tries to glaze over the issue of how much protein you should take in a day. And, it was really aggravating for me because this is something that a lot of young and even older bodybuilders, every bodybuilder and even athletes are really asking for. And thankfully we got the question answered by Ian, or I think his name is Ian, but we got the question answered, and that was around 25 to 30 grams of whey protein. And this is an important point. I talk about it before, where meal frequency is actually highly important as far as ensuring muscle protein synthesis throughout the day upon powerlifting or weightlifting. So when you've done these stimulations, you can maximize your muscle protein synthesis with the application of more meals. It's not just the fact that, if you consume 50 grams of protein, or your body weight in protein in one sitting, you're not going to get the same effect as if you were to disperse that over the course of multiple meals. And also, one of the reasons why whey protein is so good at stimulating muscle protein synthesis, and even over leucine, branched chain and other branched chain amino acids, isoleucine and valine, is because I believe the IGF within it, the insulin growth factor within the whey protein, it's a peptide hormone, and therefore it can be solubilized within the protein, and so you're going to get a insulin spike without any branched chain, or not without any, but without any carbohydrates. So that's really important as far as absorption into the body cells is concerned, because as you stimulate insulin, you're going to stimulate nutrition intake, and also then therefore protein synthesis. Okay, so now Ian has a couple good points on intermediate fasting, and he does concede to saying that some people experience some benefits with intermediate fasting. He also points out a really highly relevant and important factor, also concerning his background too. He's a little bit more aware of it than I am, about eating disorders, and how this sort of eating and this negative relationship when we're talking about fasting is concerning as far as what is the effect it is going to have on the person and the individual who's eating, and what are their past relationships with food. Intermediate fasting is a fairly extreme, not obviously the most extreme diet out there, when this period of not eating when you're discussing about like cutting back for a show or something. That's a lot more indicative of something like an eating disorder. But intermediate fasting is, because it's so prolonged and extended, it could definitely have an effect on eating disorders. So I applaud him for doing that. I don't necessarily like his statement around, I think, 8 minutes or so, where he's like suggesting that, again, you can eat all of it in one meal, but it's just a matter of the fact that you can. This is in an overview of intermediate fasting. This is his video. Where you can consume as many calories as you want, but you'll still get solicit the same response from it. And again, that just goes back to what I was saying before, where this is not true. You need to consume it over multiple meals. As far as post-workout nutrition is concerned, it may be that when you have already retained your muscle mass, that you can consume these meals less frequently. So you don't need to consume them with so much adhesion to this whole 5 or 6 meals in a day. Longer you wait before the longer you wait before you eat, the more hypertrophy you get. I actually shouldn't have said that, because I honestly don't know when he says that. He says that somewhere around 8. I haven't really looked into that. I do not believe that is true. He typically checks his sources, but I don't see that being really highly apparent. I don't see that. No. Okay. So body takes in. Okay, so yeah, he's right at 12:30, when the body takes in. The body takes about 2 weeks to change its metabolism upon dietary restriction. So you restrict your calories by 1,000 calories, and you're only eating 1,000 calories a day. You're going to have a drop in metabolism about 2 weeks later. So say you eat a shit ton of food, and your metabolism's up, and then you stop eating a bunch of food, your metabolism's going to go down. Or say you eat a bunch of food, your metabolism's going to raise a little bit after 2 weeks. And then also, if say you're trying to lose weight, you restrict all your calories, your metabolism is going to slow down a little bit after 2 weeks. So you may experience some weight gain or weight loss, but generally your metabolism is going to adjust for that, especially in extreme conditions. Lane Norton touches on the changes in metabolism as well with basal metabolic damage. Yeah, that's basically it. So his "if it fits your macros" approach is bullshit. He's an intelligent kid, but we need to be very careful when we're assessing information, especially when we're going against the grain of what typical bodybuilders have known and done. He also touches a little bit on progressive tension overload, and one thing he doesn't consider at all is compensatory acceleration. You have different muscle fibers in your body, and we need to make sure that those are also addressed. And I'm going to do a video on that later on. And this sort of indicates how you can both work out slowly and get lean muscle, and work out quickly and get big muscle. And so it's different from, it's not just intrinsic, concentric, and it's not just how many reps you do. It's not just TUT. There's another aspect to it that we definitely need to consider that I don't think Ian appreciates or does. So he doesn't appreciate meal timing. He doesn't appreciate compensatory acceleration or muscle fiber integration. He also doesn't. I think he has some appreciation for. Actually, he can't. He seems to, but doesn't actually acknowledge or understand that your body parts are made up of different muscle fibers. Particularly within the calf muscle, he gives recommendations for how to work your calf muscle, being higher repetitions. I don't think he understands that the reason why you do higher repetitions is because there's a different sort of muscle structure or muscle fiber type, or higher ratio of type 1 slower twitch muscle fibers within the body that that in order to grow you need to do slower repetitions and also higher repetitions in order to stimulate muscle growth. It's about 50-50, but I think other ratios in the body are different. Or higher for fast twitch, I should say. So therefore, when you do acceleration, you can actually get muscle mass bigger than it. I'll do another video about it. Okay, so that's my review of Ian McCarthy. It kind of sucked, but hopefully you got something out of it.